Hi, greetings YouTubers and fellow bronies and Pegasisters alike. Alright, this episode I am going to review the currently shortest season of the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic series, Season 3. For anybody that's had to muster through the last two videos, luckily this one's only half that much, which is 13 episodes long as opposed to the 26. So hopefully this video, knock on wood, won't be as long as the others, seeing as how there's no reason for it to be. I think I'll just start off with the episodes first and then give my overall review later. So starting off with the Season 3 premiere, I don't know why this took a while, the Crystal Empire. And basically this is where they introduce Sombra, which is a lioness, which is a dark lioness character who's coming to who's trying to possess all the magic from the enlightened hearts of the Crystal Empire, including the most prized possession and the centerpiece of the whole city, the Crystal Heart itself. This episode reintroduces Shiny Armor and Cadence, and it's definitely one of those action-packed season premiere episodes that was kind of picked up since kind of Season 1 and definitely Season 2 and Season 2's finale. So this was a great way to pick up where the series kind of left off, continuing off of the marriage of Shiny Armor and Cadence, and just how it eventually evolved into Princess Cadence becoming the princess of the Crystal Empire. It was an overall good episode, and it was nice to kind of see a whole new environment of Equestria that was going to be picked up for later events later on into the overall series. Next episode of the season, which would be episode 3, would be Too Many Pinkie Pies. And Pinkie Pie, hopefully he doesn't keep doing that. Too Many Pinkie Pies. And basically in this episode she finds a mirror pond, and she basically clones herself so she can be at many places at once. But apparently her clones make it go a little too out of control to where they have to revert back to one Pinkie Pie. It's basically resolved into a staring contest where one person has to focus the most. The person that focuses the most they will consider to be the real Pinkie Pie. And I don't know, it's just basically about a lesson of not being too hyper, I guess, if anything. And it's always good to be focused on some things, not try to be focused on many things or try to do many things all at once. Which is definitely, I think, a lesson that fits perfectly for Pinkie Pie. The next episode, which actually has one of the best songs, if not the best song of the season, is One Bad Apple, which introduces Bab Seeds as she visits Ponyville. The Cutie Mark Crusaders just feel like she'll be... the Cutie Mark Crusaders try to welcome her in, but she ends up liking the rivals, Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon, a little better. And they don't like the fact that they're being bullied by her, and eventually just gets to the point where Applejack kind of gets intervened, and basically before the end of the episode, they all kind of make amends with each other before Babs goes back to Manhattan. I guess she apologized for her actions, and eventually she decides to accept the fact that she's a blank flank as well, and she decides to become her own Cutie Mark Crusader for the Manhattan district, therefore spreading out the whole Cutie Mark Crusaders club, if anything. And it definitely kind of introduced an interesting character, even if she's only been here like maybe one or two other times since then. And like I said, it just had one of the, even though it was like a little over a minute long, it definitely had one of the best songs of the season. In fact, I still think it's probably the best song of the season. Episode 5 would be Magic Duel, and this is the great and powerful Trixie's kind of come back with an Alicorn amulet to say that she is powerful and all that. Once again, kind of continuing the story that was brought on with Ghostbusters in Season 1. And it just kind of, let's see. Anyway, you just basically find out they're all trying to wonder how she's so powerful and why she is this powerful, especially with little to no training or if she was training, she kind of gained all these powers a little too quickly, even for training, and eventually finds out that she's wearing an amulet, that she got the amulet to have all that power, that I guess she's getting a little too powerful, that they have to get it to core to kind of help her out, and they basically make a fake gem, or make a fake charm for Twilight to use, where she's just using her own magic to prove that Trixie isn't just powerful because she has an amulet or anything, or having an amulet doesn't make you the most powerful, doesn't make you more powerful than anybody else. Definitely kind of taught Trixie a lesson. Again, kind of continued a great story arc that was picked up since episode 6 of season 1. And even though it didn't really kind of convert Trixie to a good side, it did kind of teach her a lesson, and I guess it kind of, said lessons, what kind of helped her eventually later on when she did become a more favorable character, or at least a more non-antagonistic character in later seasons. Episode 6, which is one of my favorite episodes of season 3, is called Sleepless in Ponyville. And this one is where Scootaloo is trying to become sisters with Rainbow Dash, which is her idol, but she gets terrified with the stories, but she's too afraid to admit to Rainbow Dash because she's trying to act all cool and tough like Rainbow Dash is, because again she thinks of her as an idol, and she wants her to be her big sister. Eventually you just find out that even Rainbow Dash was afraid of the stories at first, that there really is no reason for Scootaloo to be afraid of anything. And at the end of the episode, I don't know where I got that. At the end of the episode, Rainbow Dash accepts Scootaloo as her sister, and that just kind of helps the relationship between the two of them as the season progresses, and even kind of gives a whole big sister, little sister element that can kind of completes the whole Cutie Mark Crusader cycle between Sweetie Belle and Rarity, and Apple Bloom and Applejack. But I think just for that element alone, which didn't really take me a lot to read the story because I just kind of remembered it instantly with the title. Like I said, definitely one of my favorite episodes, and probably my favorite episode of the season. I don't know why, but I keep noticing some of my most favorite episodes of the seasons tend to have the Cutie Mark Crusaders involved with it. Episode 7, which is the halfway point at this point, is the Wonderbolt Academy. And Rainbow Dash is accepted into the Wonderbolt Academy, led by Spitfire, and quickly becomes friends with Lightning Dust, another Pegasus who is as fast and as skilled as her, but is more reckless. Rainbow Dash is surprised to find that she is assigned as wing pony to Lightning Dust, and becomes concerned when her aggressive approach endangers the other cadets. When Lightning Dust decides to create a tornado during a cloud clearing exercise, the tornado threatens to harm Rainbow's friends, who have come to give her a care package. Though everyone is safe in the end, Rainbow decides to quit Wonderbolts, disgusted by the organization's apparent approval of such reckless behavior. However, Spitfire reveals that she agrees with her and pursues Rainbow to withdraw her resignation, with a promotion to cadet team leader, stripping Lightning Dust from her rank. Can't say I didn't really remember that episode until I read it, but I think just going on with Rainbow Dash's story arc of her wanting to be a Wonderbolt since episode 1, I think this is kind of great. It kind of moves along that path of her dream becoming a reality, and it just definitely shows a lot more maturity and I guess even loyalty for Rainbow Dash as her lifelong dream does become a reality, and she gets to work with some of the people that she's become very fond of since season 1, or since before season 1 for that matter. Next episode would be Apple Family Reunion, and this one had another decent song in it, and you got a chance to see all the Apple families that Applejack mentioned again in season 1, episode 1. And it was a kind of a decent episode. I think it's one I can kind of relate to, because in this one, Applejack kind of gets a little too obsessed with the family to do the things that she wants to do, and I can't say I haven't been a victim of wanting to do that, or being a victim of that as well. So I definitely think it's one I can personally relate to. And basically, just all the chaos and everything just kind of erupts to where the barn gets broken down, and basically everybody rebuilds the barn, and that becomes the activity that they do for the family reunion. In the end, Applejack apologized for getting too out of control and too bossy, and almost ruining everybody's fun, almost eliminating the real purpose of the whole reunion in itself. And everybody accepts her apology, and they end up having a good, memorable reunion, mainly because they rebuilt the barn, something that I guess the family started doing, and this is what they were able to do instead of family reunion, thus I guess making it go full circle, thus not making the family reunion a total loss for the eyes of the Apple family. Like I said, definitely a good episode, and I think if anything, one I can definitely relate to compared to the others I've just mentioned in season 3 so far. Episode 9 would be Spike at Your Service. And when Applejack saves Spike from his this is basically one of those, this kind of reminds me of an episode from Hey Arnold, where Arnold saves Sid from a collapsing building or a collapsing billboard. And the whole episode, Sid just kind of becomes a little annoying, saying that he owes Garfield his life. I mean, not Garfield, owes Arnold his life. And eventually he just gets on Arnold's nerves. And that, can be said for this episode. Just replace Sid with Spike and Applejack with Arnold, which is a little easy to do, seeing as how they have the same first letters in their names. But anyway, it's just kind of like, that kind of actually made me kind of like the plot, even though I kind of knew what was going to go on from the minute I saw the episode. First glance, I kind of had an idea what was going to happen throughout the whole episode. I think because of the nostalgia, again, because of said Hey Arnold episode, I think I kind of learned to enjoy it. And again, it wasn't that disappointing because it lived up to the nostalgia completely. Not a lot of things can really be something you've seen over and over again. And instead of just being cliche and being a rehash, it actually ends up being a very decent episode or a very decent story. And this one, Spike at Your Service, definitely did that in my opinion, at least for me. Next episode, episode 10, almost there. Keep on and flutter on, or keep calm and flutter on. And this is where this is actually a pretty interesting episode that is very important for the later half, for the other half of the series so far. And this is basically where Princess Celestia gives Fluttershy the task of Discord making Discord have a friend, and therefore reforming him and not making him as chaotic or as evil as he's been known to be. And basically the whole episode he gets very chaotic. He gets on everybody else's nerves, but Fluttershy tries to be patient with him. Eventually she kind of gets the last straw pulled on him, and she says that if she does the act that he's about to do, which is release total chaos throughout all of Equestria, she says that if she won't be his friend, and then he realizes that he'll lose the only person that's been willing to be his friend, and therefore his only friend. And that basically, long story short, just makes him become reformed, which is what the responsibility was in the first time. And it was just definitely an interesting episode to see, mainly because it was a Discord episode, and I mean, who can't dislike Discord? He was even one of my favorite villains back in season 2. And making him a no longer an antagonist and more of a good guy. And then definitely the way they did it in this episode was definitely a good thing. Was definitely something that gained my approval, in my opinion. I definitely liked this episode. And again, it was just one of those where I just had to see the episode and just get the first few words in, and then I just instantly remember the plot. It was just that memorable, and is that memorable of an episode for me. Episode 11 is Just for Sidekicks. And basically this episode and the next episode take place around the same time, which is something I like when shows do this, especially when My Little Pony does this, and I think this is kind of the first one that does that. And basically Spike is given the I kind of don't really need the tablet for that one. Basically Spike is given the task and responsibility to take care of the other pets, Tank, Owlicious, I can't remember Applejack's dog's names, but anyway, Spike is meant to take care of all the other pets from all the other main 6 characters, and basically just ends up going awry throughout all of Ponyville, but eventually it's just one of those stories where, despite all heck breaks loose, at the last minute everything's reformed. They get to their location they need to be, which is the treehouse, right before, like the minute before everybody walks in. And it's just they see Spike's responsible. He basically almost gets away with it. He gets the gym that he was wanting to get the whole episode to eat and all that for his treat. And it was just a very funny, chaotic episode featuring a lot of side characters. Really a lot of side characters because it's the pets, and just kind of focusing more on them and just giving them a very interesting episode and a very interesting plot. Again, definitely say I liked it for said reason, and like I said, you can never really go wrong with a Spike episode because this is one of the seeing as how this is the first 3 seasons, he's kind of like the token male character. So for me, being a brony and all that, especially for the early 3 seasons, it's kind of nice to see an episode focuses on one of the guys for a change, especially since, again, said episode was so chaotic. Episode 12, which takes place during the same time as Just for Sidekicks. It's basically Princess Cadis asked Twilight Sparkle and her friends to help prepare for the Crystal Empire, the Crystal Empire for the arrival of the games inspector, Miss Harshini. Okay, they're trying to make. Okay, I remember this one. They're trying to make Crystal Empire the location for the next Ponies games, and Rainbow Dash really wants this to happen, seeing as how Cloudsdale was never given the chance the year she wanted it to, and so she wanted to give the Crystal Empire the chance, seeing as how the chance was given to them, and she didn't want them to go through the same disappointment and miss the same opportunity that Cloudsdale and she did when she was younger. And basically, all 6 of the friends try to do their own unique things to help raise the thing. Obviously, again, like the previous episode, chaos kind of ensues, but eventually the needs are met for Miss Harshwini, and it basically gets to the point where the Crystal Empire does become the next host city for the Ponies games, which doesn't for the Equestria games, sorry. Which doesn't really get picked up until late into the season 4, but it was definitely a great way to tie up both seasons and both episodes for that matter, both the one for season 3 and season 4, and both Just for Sidekicks and Ponies Play, and it definitely wrapped up said episodes perfectly. You could almost see scene for scene the parts that did kind of show both plots intertwining together. That they both kind of made sense, and it was just definitely a great simultaneous episode, diverse plot movement, and I'd say this one was just as good, if not almost a little better than the Just for Sidekicks episode, or if not a little better in its own unique way. And then last but not least, the season finale, episode 13, Magical Mystery Cure. Like I said, going back to season 1 with Best Night Ever, I kind of like it when they do the 2-parter finales as opposed to just the 1-part finales, but as opposed to 1-part finales, between this one and season 1, this might actually, I don't know if I'm really trying not to contradict myself. If I am, I'm sorry, because I really can't remember, to be honest. But I think between those two, this one would be my favorite. It definitely introduced a whole new story element to the to the overall series' story. And it was just interesting to see all the other members of the main 6 have each other's cutie mark, and just everything just goes awry. It seems how they're trying to focus on abilities that they don't have, that they don't possess, but all of a sudden they do have. And it ends up being that a spell broke loose, and that it's an ancient spell, and that Princess Twilight Sparkle at this point has to basically find the cure for the spell, or if not the antidote for the spell, and therefore kind of completing the spell, seeing as how the spell has been incomplete for almost 1,000 years at this point. She basically solves the problems, figures the spell through basically using science and math, which actually wasn't that bad of an interest. It was nice seeing everybody help each other out, regain their original powers, and their original cutie marks for that matter. And it was just at the end, it was just definitely a good episode to see Twilight's character progress and how she became the princess of friendship and how she became an alicorn. I definitely like that. The weird thing is that a lot of people, because by this point when I'm seeing these episodes, season 4 is just about to end, and not a lot of people, and I remember not a lot of people really liked her becoming a alicorn. So I was kind of going into this season wondering why people didn't like that, and just seeing this episode, I actually was like, I really didn't see, and I still don't see why everybody gave it a lot of flack at first part, and how they said that it was a jump in the shark moment. I was willing to be off, I thought it was actually a great progressive moment for the series. I felt like the series kind of, well, I almost said I felt like the series needed to progress, but I disagree with that. I just feel like it just wasn't a bad change, and it wasn't a bad time to do a change. Like, even if they didn't do it, I probably wouldn't have minded. World knows a lot of fans probably wouldn't have minded at the time, but I just thought it was a great unfolding of the episode. And I guess in speaking of future seasons, I like how, especially for season 4, I like how they did it in a way where you can clearly see she's an alicorn, and you can clearly tell she's a princess from here and there. But they don't do it in a way that it's completely a different shift from the whole series that everybody grew up with from the first 3 seasons. And I like how the creators of the show reassured the fans that it wasn't a jump in the shark moment. And luckily everybody gave season 4 a chance. And next thing you know, season 4 became, and probably still is, one of the most fan-favorited seasons out there, and because of it. And with all that being said, with all 13 episodes being done and reviewed, I would say, again, I'm basically repeating myself from the other 2 reviews. I would say this is probably my 4th favorite season, again, because of the whole progressional thing, and especially because of the finale. This is the 3rd and final season, I guess in my opinion, that really focuses solely on the initial audience, which is for the young girls and their fathers and all that, and how from season 4 onward, it kind of focuses more on, or it doesn't really focus more on, but they definitely put the bronies and Pegasisters of our age group into consideration with the writings of the episodes and the story arcs and everything, and that was definitely a very interesting design to do. But I guess this is the last season of its kind, and it definitely was a great final chapter of that part of the series. And the way they ended it again was pretty much a good way. I think it almost makes up for the fact that it wasn't a two-parter season finale. But I thought the overall season was great. Like I said, I honestly thought these 13 episodes were somewhat better than the season 2 episodes, and then I thought the season 2 episodes were somewhat better than the season 1 episodes. So again, I just felt like this season, even though it was half a season, kind of continued the trend of being a little better than the previous season and continuing the story in a very unique way, and definitely not disappointing the fans, whether it's the general audience that it was aimed for or the Brony and Pegasisters alike. Like I said, with that being said, it was a great season. Now I'm really looking forward to doing the other 3 seasons that have been out so far, 4, 5, and 6, as well as the 4 Equestria Girls movies. I'll probably do the first one next, the first Equestria Girls movie, seeing as how that came out in between 3 and 4. And I guess I'll do that next video. So even though I don't know how I still managed to be 6 minutes shy of my last video, and that one's only half the episode, and this is only half the episodes, I really hope this doesn't mean all my reviews somehow get longer as I keep going. But I guess in the video, it was a great season. Liked every episode. Of course, when have I not liked every episode of My Little Pony so far? And I hope everybody else enjoyed it. And thanks for mustering through this whole video yet again. Peace out and bro poof.